Oh man. So I've been looking at the mid-season because we're at that bye week, and we gotta look at that offense. And I noticed that the run game, we definitely have to work on that. The passing game has been impressive. I mean, like the receiving core, impressive. How are y'all feeling about the offensive line?
Well, it's hit or miss. I will say this: there's no way you can pass for the yardage that Alabama's passed for. I think Ty is on pace to throw for something like 3,200 yards in the regular season. There's no way you can do that without ample protection up front. So I think the pass protection, it hasn't been perfect, but it's been pretty good. Otherwise, Ty wouldn't be able to put up those numbers every week. I think it can improve, but the run blocking has clearly been an issue. The run game is a huge issue. The average yards per carry for the entire running back room, other than AK Deer, who's only had 7 carries, the running back average per carry numbers are really bad all the way across the room. I think Dre Washington has 4 yards a carry. That's the second best number in the whole room. Jam and Daniel Hill are in the 3 yards per carry number. I think Richard Young's in the 2 yards per carry number. So the run game production from the running backs has been really bad. And I think the offensive line shares a part in that. But the pass protection's been very good. And there are some disaster offensive lines in the SEC. South Carolina, LSU, Texas. Those units are all significantly worse than Alabama. So it can be worse than it is, guys, believe it or not. But they do need to improve down the stretch, particularly in the run blocking. It's been pretty bad.
Luke, how have you been feeling about the offense this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's concerned about the running attack. It is not flashy. I'm trying to be as nice as I can be. Sure, the pass blocking has been better, especially with Jam coming back. I mean, Jimmy and I have determined he is the soul of the squad right now. Everything has been better since he's been back, and he does bring a certain level of toughness to the team. Maybe Daniel Hill is beginning to turn that corner as well. I did notice the other day against South Carolina, there were a couple of blocks he should have picked up and didn't, but he was good on as he was coming out of the backfield with some receptions. He was Alabama's leading receiver against South Carolina on a team with Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams and Cuevas. That's a big deal. So he's also hitting the hole a little bit harder. He's a big back. We knew he was going to be sort of a rough and tumble guy, and he's been doing that, but it's been slow to develop. He was sort of my breakout candidate for this year. I just didn't think it would take until game number 8. But I think now we have found a nice hierarchy. I mean, Jam is in there first because Jam is the soul of the team. Then you bring in Daniel Hill, who can sort of do everything pretty well. Maybe pass blocking is his weakest, but that's okay. And then if you need to on a third down situation, third and long, maybe you bring in Kevin Riley, who's been great receiving the football himself. So I think we've got a nice rhythm now with the running backs. It took us a minute to get there with Jam's absence at the beginning of the season, and then you had Kevin Riley and you had Daniel Hill, and you didn't know what was going on. And Dre Washington, still not sure what's going on there. Richard Young was involved. I mean, he's missing in action right now. And then AK Deer, as Jimmy said, he's got the longest run of the year, which is just nuts to think about. But that's the way it is.
The second longest run is? AK had the big home run. You know what the second longest run is?
I mean, it can't be longer than like 25 yards.
It's 22 yards.
Yeah.
That's the second longest run from a running back all season at Alabama, other than AK Deer's home run that he hit in garbage time, I guess, against Monroe.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, Rammer Jammer's thinking that if we could have fixed the run game, it would have been fixed by now. But, well, there's still time.
There's some validity to that. I think if it was an easy fix, it would have been fixed. I think the primary thing myself is, look, whenever there's a complex problem, I think people want to solve it by thinking there's some easy solution, but complex problems require complex solutions. I think there's a few things at play here, including the quality of the backs. I do think that's a factor. I don't think it's the biggest factor, but I think it's a factor. I think the schematics and the scheme itself is a little questionable in terms of getting production from the running back position. I mean, highlighted by the fact Alabama usually their standard formation is one back and one tight end. They don't play a lot of 12 personnel. They did a ton of that last year, and the two tight ends were great blockers, and Robbie Use and C.J. Dupree. That's why Jalen Milroe was able to put up those fantastic numbers as a running quarterback. But now you've taken away those two big blocking tight ends, replaced them with the pass receiving threat, and there's only one. So it's one Josh Cuevas replacing C.J. Dupree and Robbie Use, and that's just asking a lot of the backs. I think that's as big of an issue as anything else. And of course, we're obviously built to throw the ball. That's what this offense is built to do under DeBoer and Grubb, is a win with the quarterback throwing the ball to the strength of the team, which is that wide receiver core.
It's also a little bit amazing that our play action seems to be working so well, because why in the world are you faked out by our running attack when it's not very good? Usually play action is fantastic when you have a good running back. But I think, Alabama's reputation for the longest time has been you run the ball well, you run the ball well. We've had Heisman winners in that regard and Doak Walker winners and all those things. And so maybe it's tough for some teams to get that out of their heads, but the play action still does seem to be working well. And here's the thing. I mean, the running game isn't great, obviously. The deep ball game is not great. Yeah, our longest pass is 75 yards, but that was a double reverse throwback to Ryan Williams that went for 75 yards. He basically caught it at the line of scrimmage. So maybe, but the thing is, we are great in the short to middle passing game. So it sort of makes up for that in a way. And I think that's what's keeping us, though, from being as dynamic as we should be. I was thinking about this today, like, man, I mean, everybody has been lauding our offense with praise, and they should be, because they've done some great things. But we only scored 24 against Georgia. I mean, Tennessee put up 41 against them. Heck, we only put up 30 points as an offense against Tennessee, and everybody else, I mean, Kentucky's doing that. We only put up, 27 against Missouri? We only put up how many this past week did we put up, Jimmy? I don't remember. 29? And 7 of those came on a pick six. So we really only put up 22.
Last year's offense scored more points and created more yardage. Those are just statistical facts. But I would argue, and I bet both of you guys agree, I would argue that this year's offense is more effective than last year's offense, because they've sort of, for the most part, eliminated 3 and outs. Now, there was a bunch of 3 and outs this Saturday, but that was an anomaly based on what had happened the previous 6 games, where there was almost 0 3 and outs. This team's a lot more consistent at moving, maintaining, and possessing the ball. But it is just a fact that last year's offense scored more points and generated more yardage.
Well, and looking at it all, where would you grade the offense for 2025 so far, after the disastrous week 1 loss and then that turnaround we've had for the last several games?
I'd say B+. I mean, you can't go A, because when you don't have a running game, I mean, I think that knocks you a couple of points. But you also have to give bonus points, because you've now got what a lot of people consider to be the Heisman leader at the midway point of the season, at a time when everybody was like, hey, why is this guy getting so much praise? He couldn't even beat out Jalen Milroe. And so I think it's B to B+. I mean, I lean B+ because I'm a homer. So, yeah, I'll go B+.
I think B+ is very fair. I'm just going to say B and not really disagree with Luke at all. You can't say it's an A, because there's just not enough point production. And the running game is so questionable. So A is out of the mix. D and F is definitely out of the mix, because Alabama's 7-1 and the 4th ranked team in the country. You simply wouldn't be there without the offense. And by the way, ESPN's little fancy analytics that someone would have to explain to me like I'm a 5th grader, their fancy analytics say Alabama's got the 15th most efficient offense in the country. That's really good. And I think that supports that B grade. So for me, it's a B, which is good. I mean, B's, heck, you make B's all the way through school. You can make something of yourself.
Oh, yeah. Well, you'll be all right, and you stay out of trouble. You're good to go. Making a C, you're in trouble.
Hey, C's get you degrees.
Yep. There you go.
That's what we had to tell ourselves in law school.
That's what I had to tell myself in elementary school.
Oh man.